Here are the top stories for today, July 3, 2020. Malacanang reminds public utility jeepney drivers to observe safety protocols amid their impending resumption of operations. The Army welcomes the PNP statement ruling out that the shooting incident which killed 4 soldiers in Jolo, Sulu was a misencounter. Malacanang assures that ABS-CBN workers won't lose their jobs amid the NTC stoppage of its broadcast operations. And several countries call for constructive engagement in addressing concerns on the human rights situation in the Philippines. Good day, I'm William Theo. Welcome to the PNA Newsroom. More than 6,000 traditional jeepneys are back on the road today here in Metro Manila to serve the commuting public. Strict health rules are strictly implemented, such as checking of body temperature, wearing of face masks and gloves at all times, operating at a maximum of 50% capacity, and distributing passenger contact forms. While these jeeps are not required to secure special permits, QR codes are issued to the operator, which must be printed and displayed on the unit. Traffic enforcers will begin apprehending PUJs with no displayed or QR codes beginning Monday. A total of 6,002 jeepneys are allowed to ply 49 routes in the region.
Ulitin po namin, ito po ang sabi ng DOTR, and I quote, "The LTFRB emphasizes to the traditional PUJ operators that they must provide PUJs that are currently registered roadworthy with the Land Transportation Office and with valid personal passenger insurance policy." At siyempre po, kinakailangan merong social distancing, nakasuot ng mask ang mga tao, at kung pwede po, talagang dapat po merong disinfectant. Makikita niyo po sa ating infographic ngayon ang mga ruta. Hindi ko na po babasahin dahil medyo marami po sila, pero pakibasa na lang po sa screen. Inaasahan natin na ang susunod ang mga operator at super sa mga safety operations tulad ng pagsuot ng maskara at guantes at ang maximum 50% operating capacity.
90 bus units are allowed to be deployed under the MRT3 bus augmentation program in order to accommodate MRT3's weekend passengers throughout the suspension of operations. The weekend shutdown is scheduled on July 4 to 5 and will continue on August 8 to 9, August 21 to 23, and September 12 to 13. The suspension of operations allows the MRT3 to continue with the fast tracking of rail replacement works, which is scheduled to be finished by September 2020. Locally stranded individuals staying at the Manila North Harbour have been provided with sufficient food and temporary accommodations. A total of 203 LSIs as of yesterday are staying at the Manila North Port. They are set to leave on July 12 for Cebu, Bacolod, Butuan, Iloilo, Palawan, and Dumaguete. DOTR Secretary Arthur Tugade personally visited and checked on their present situation and ordered the transfer of 7 families with children and 3 female seniors to the air-conditioned area of the building on Thursday night. Around 200 folding beds and additional fans were also delivered on the same day, as well as sufficient food and milk supplement for children. Tugade appealed to the LSIs for their cooperation and understanding and to always observe proper health protocols such as physical distancing and the wearing of face masks. Passengers can expect more seats at the Ninoy Aquino International Airport as 2,000 chairs were delivered on Thursday for distribution at Terminals 2 and 3. In his public address on Tuesday night, President Duterte pointed out the lack of seats at the country's main gateway.
Alam mo yung sa yung airport na yan, kung sino nag-design na yan, bihin mo sa kanya, walang upuan. Iilan lang ang upuan pagka ang mga flights nagpatong, yung iba nakatindig sa. And what's really worse is that merong restaurant dyan sa labas na malaki. paalisin mo yung restaurant, lagyan mo ng upuan, kasi yung iba mga bata, buntis, walang upuan.
On Wednesday, Transportation Chief Arthur Tugade made rounds at the NAIA and asked MIA to put seats in concessions that are not being used. He also ordered that those with confirmed bookings for the day but were suddenly canceled be allowed to stay inside the airport. Presidential spokesperson Hari Roca admits that the country is still facing a big problem due to the pandemic and a vaccine or medicine must be developed to defeat COVID-19. Roca said the actions taken by the government only help slow the spread of COVID-19 in the country. He also warned that people's defiance of health and quarantine protocols would only lead to 100% fast transmission of COVID-19 infections.
Pag sinabi nating nananalo po tayo dahil nahanda po natin ang ating health system para magbigay lunas sa mga magkakasakit, bagamat tama po kayo, hindi talaga tayo mananalo habang walang bakuna, habang walang gamot dito sa sakit na ito. I maintain na we are still winning the war against COVID-19, pero siyempre po, yung ultimate weapon na gagamitin natin, nasa kamay po ng taong bayan. Mask, washing hands, and good hygiene.
National Action Plan on COVID-19 Chief Implementer Secretary Carlito Galvez Jr. said the COVID-19 situation in Cebu City has significantly improved. He said the government is working on the expansion of healthcare facilities in Cebu City as part of efforts to halt the spread of the disease. On the other hand, Interior Secretary Eduardo Ano said one good thing about the lockdown implementation is that the government was able to manage the severe and critical cases in the country. As part of the government's ongoing efforts to contain the pandemic, all military camps will be provided with hospitals and necessary facilities needed for treating and isolating the disease. Defense Secretary Delfin Lorenzana said that while the number of doctors is sufficient for the moment, they can always recruit more, including nurses, if needed. He said beefing up of the military's health facilities will allow them to assist the Department of Health in containing the COVID-19 threat and future pandemics. The Labor Department says around 72,000 overseas Filipinos have been repatriated and more will be sent home in the coming weeks. Labor Secretary Silvestre Bello says the repatriated OFWs can still choose to return abroad once the situations normalize in the countries they were formerly employed. Meanwhile, Labor Secretary Silvestre Bello said families of overseas Filipino workers who died from the coronavirus disease are entitled to receive 750,000 up to 900,000 worth of insurance benefits. The government is set to bring home the remains of 301 OFWs from Saudi Arabia, including 152 who died from COVID-19. The government of Saudi Arabia gave the Philippines until July 4 to bring back the remains of OFWs. Foreign Affairs Undersecretary Brigido Dulay earlier said the Interagency Task Force on Emerging Infectious Diseases is seeking to have the deadline extended as the plane that was chartered for the flight may not be available on that date. The Philippine Army welcomed the statement of the Philippine National Police ruling out the claim of misencounter in the fatal shooting of 4 military intelligence officers in Jolo, Sulu last June 29. Army spokesperson Colonel Ramon Zagala said they welcome the development from the PNP as they are both professional organizations and one in seeking the truth so justice may be served. PNP spokesperson Brigadier General Bernard Banac meanwhile said they have determined it to be a shooting incident after analysis of reports show that the soldiers did not fire a single shot at the 9 police officers. PNP Chief General Archie Gamboa assured that the incident would not affect the working relationship between the PNP and the armed forces of the Philippines. The National Bureau of Investigation is already looking into the incident involving the police and the military. As President Duterte marked his 4th anniversary as the country's highest elected official, Malacanang said he had a great 4 years in service and did a great performance even before the coronavirus disease pandemic hit the country.
We have limited time, pero masasabi ko naman po, no, na bago tayo tamaan ng pandemya, we have the best performing economy, not just in Southeast Asia, one of the best in the whole world. So it was actually a great performance as far as the economy is concerned. Unfortunately, tinamaan po tayo ng pandemya, pero sang-ayon po sa mga survey din, ay talagang overwhelming majority ng ating mga kababayan, suportado naman po ang mga aksyon na ginawa ng ating presidente. So it's been a great 4 years.
Still to come, Malacanang assures that ABS-CBN workers won't lose their jobs amid the NTC stoppage of its broadcast operations. The Department of Agriculture tightens its watch on the entry of pork and pork products from China and reports of a new variant of swine flu. More on these when the PNA Newsroom continues.
Tandaan ang tamang paraan ng paghuhugas at paglilinis ng kamay upang makaiwas sa iba't ibang karamdaman. Basain ng tubig ang mga kamay at sabunin. Unang sabunin ang mga palad at ang likod ng mga kamay. Kuskusin na maigi ang pagitan ng mga daliri at maging ang mga kuko. Isunod ang pagitan ng mga hinlalaki at kuskusin ng paikot ang mga dulo ng mga daliri sa magkabilang palad. Banlawang mabuti ang mga kamay sa malinis na tubig at patuyuin ang mga kamay gamit ang single-use towel o air dryer. Basta't sama-sama at laging handa, kaya natin to! Isang paalala mula sa DOH, PCOO, KBP at ng himpilang ito.
Kakagaling ko lang ng grocery. Siyempre, hindi ko hahayaan na pumasok ang COVID-19 sa bahay at mapahamak ang pamilya ko. Kaya iiwan ko ang sapatos ko sa labas. At ngayon, maghuhugas ako ng kamay ng 20 seconds. O ayan, wala na ang virus. Tandaan, buhay ng pamilya natin na nakasalalay. Let's heal as one.
Alam niyo ba na pumapasok ang COVID-19 sa ating katawan sa pamamagitan ng mata, ilong at bibig? Kaya lagi kaming conscious dito sa bahay kapag umuubo kami. Lagi kaming naghuhugas ng kamay in 20 seconds. Pag lumalabas kami, lagi namin suot ang mask. Lagi lang natin tatandaan mga mamshi. Buhay ng pamilya natin ang nakasalalay dito. Let's heal as one.
Malacanang said ABS-CBN employees would not automatically lose their jobs even after the National Telecommunications Commission ordered to stop its broadcast operations. Presidential spokesperson Hari Roca said ABS-CBN continues to run its other media platforms following the expiration of its 25-year legislative franchise on May 4. Roca also clarified that ABS-CBN only has 4,000 workers, citing data from the Department of Labor and Employment. This is in contrast to ABS-CBN's repeated claim that 11,000 of its workers might lose their jobs if the network shuts down. Roca said he is confident that lawmakers would consider the welfare of ABS-CBN workers when they deliberate. The guidelines of the Film Development Council of the Philippines in regulating film and other audiovisual production shoots amid the pandemic may still be fine-tuned. Presidential spokesperson Hari Roca made this assurance after veteran directors and producers expressed concern over some of the provisions in the FDCP guidelines, particularly on being required to provide some details 7 days before the shoot. Roca confirmed that the guidelines will be implemented after receiving approval from the National Administrative Registry of the UP Law Center. However, he said the guidelines could still be updated after more consultations with government agencies and industry stakeholders are made. The guidelines on film and AV production shoots are stipulated under an administrative order issued jointly by the FDCP, the DOH, and DOLE, particularly on the mandatory report on production shoots 7 days before the said activity. The local government units are still implementing strict protocols in containing the spread of COVID-19. Let us take a look at the efforts of these LGUs From Chris Mundo.
Several accommodation facilities in Ilocos are now open for business under a new normal condition. In Ilocos Norte, close to 100 hotels, resorts, and transient houses were issued a special permit to operate either as a quarantine facility, accommodation place for authorized persons outside residence, or leisure. In Dumaguete City, returning residents will now be required to present a negative RT-PCR test result upon arrival. This is effective July 1 after Negros Oriental was downgraded to a modified General Community Quarantine Status or MGCQ with strict local action. In Iloilo City, individuals subjected to confirmatory RT-PCR test are advised to have themselves quarantined while waiting for the result. The health office made the recommendation following the 13 confirmed cases in Alimujan, Iloilo. The municipality was placed under enhanced community quarantine to restrict the movement of the locals. Meanwhile, the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao said it is intensifying measures to monitor the influx of locally stranded individuals and returning overseas Filipinos as the program has been linked to the region's spike in COVID-19 cases. BARMM's Rapid Emergency Action on Disaster Incidents has set up tents outside the Cotabato Airport in Awang Dato Odin Sinswat, Maguindanao that will serve as waiting area for LSIs and returning overseas Filipinos. Some 5,000 deportees from Malaysia are also expected to arrive in the coming weeks. The entire BARMM would remain under the modified General Community Quarantine until July 15. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Chris Mundo.
Acting Socio-Economic Planning Secretary Carl Chua on Thursday has opened the idea of negotiating temporary wage reduction to preserve more jobs amid the pandemic downturn. Chua said the temporary cut in wages is among the immediate steps to prevent layoffs and retrenchments as the country gradually reopens its economy. He noted that with the changes in the economy, they cannot keep the same jobs if they are not going to be jobs that are most efficient and compliant to the new normal. Chua said the government is considering other policy options like the portability of benefits and pension, active labor market skills training, and unemployment insurance to help workers. Marikina City Representative Stella Kimbo, however, argued that the wage reduction has a big impact on the country's poverty rate, adding that it should be the government's last policy resort. The Labor Department has issued guidelines on how employers can protect jobs and prevent layoffs and retrenchments. The Department of Agriculture is keeping a tighter watch on the country's air and sea ports to stop the entry of prohibited pork and pork products from China. This following reports of the spread of the G4 swine flu, a new type that was capable of triggering a pandemic. Quarantine measures have since increased in ports amid the COVID-19 pandemic. Agriculture Secretary William Dar, however, said smuggling and importation of prohibited products from other countries remain the problem. He appealed to businessmen to stop illegally importing products from China, as an outbreak of swine flu could only add up to the country's problems as it grapples with COVID-19. Meralco announces that it is extending its no disconnection period until September 30. Meralco President Ray Espinosa said the company is sorting out billing issues raised by consumers. He clarified that due to the enhanced community quarantine hampering their actual meter readings, Meralco had sent out estimated bills for the months of March, April, and May. He noted that if customers have nevertheless paid their bills during that period, it would be reflected in the proper accounting of payments. He said Meralco is making sure all payments are duly accounted and credited. Any overpayment would be credited to their accounts or refunded. The Department of Trade and Industry, or DTI, is encouraging Filipinos to prioritize buying local products to help the economy recover from the COVID-19 pandemic. Trade Secretary Ramon Lopez said the Buy Local, Go Local national campaign aims to boost demand for Philippine-made products, particularly those from small businesses. Patronizing Philippine-made products will help protect local employment in light of the growing unemployment caused by the pandemic. He said only with this support can the country reopen and restart the economy. The government has geared its COVID-19 response to restoring business confidence and activity after the country's economy shrank in the first quarter this year, the first in 22 years. The government this month further eased restrictions across the country, allowing more industries to reopen and expand. Up next, Malacanang defends the creation of an interagency panel to probe civilian deaths in the administration's war on drugs. And several countries call for constructive engagement in addressing concerns on the human rights situation in the Philippines. The PNA Newsroom returns after these reminders.
Alamin ang tamang paraan ng pag-ubo upang mapigilan ang paglaganap ng Coronavirus Disease 2019. Ugaliing magdala ng panyo o tissue. Kung uubo o babahing, takpan ang buong ilong at bibig gamit ang panyo o tissue. Kung walang dalang panyo o tissue, maaaring gamitin ang braso na pantakip. Kung nakararamdam na kailangan umubo o bumahing, agad na dumistansya sa mga tao sa paligid. Huwag dumura kung saan-saan, gumamit ng tissue at itapon sa basurahan. Ugaliin ang paghuhugas ng kamay at paggamit ng alcohol o hand sanitizer upang mamatay ang mikrobyo. Basta't sama-sama at laging handa, kaya natin to! Isang paalala mula sa DOH, PCOO, KBP at ng himpilang ito.
Mga mommies, pagdating sa COVID-19, dapat hindi tayo kampante. Bagamat hindi nakikita ang sakit na ito ay nakamamatay. At hanggang ngayon wala pa rin lunas. Kaya protektahan natin ang ating pamilya. Laging maghugas ng kamay, huwag hahawakan ng mukha, at manatili sa bahay para makaiwas sa sakit na ito. Tandaan, buhay ng pamilya natin ang nakasalalay dito. Let's hear this one.
Hi, Caps! Kamusta?
Well, ito dahil sa COVID-19, medyo stress.
Okay lang yan, Caps. Napagdaanan ko din yan.
Ano kaya pwede natin gawin, no?
Kung nararamdaman mo na gulong-gulo ka na sa mga naririnig mo, sa mga nababasa mo, mag-pause ka muna, saka ka huminga ng malalim.
Buti na lang tumawag ka. Iba talaga pag may nangangamusta.
A strong body starts with a strong mind.
Tama. Let's heal us one.
Malacanang disagreed with the Human Rights Watch statement, saying the newly formed interagency panel that would investigate deaths in the administration's war on drugs is a ruse to shield the country from international scrutiny. Presidential spokesperson Hari Roca said the act of creating a panel is usually done by the Philippine National Police to investigate alleged human rights violations. The creation of the panel was announced by Justice Secretary Menardo Guevara during the 44th session of the United Nations Human Rights Council on June 30. Roca said the interagency panel was created to supplement what is already being done by law enforcement authorities. He assured anew that the administration of President Rodrigo Duterte does not tolerate police abuse and will always see to it that perpetrators are punished. Earlier, the HRW said the creation of the panel aims to discourage the Human Rights Council from starting an independent probe into drug war killings and alleged human rights violations. Several countries have called for constructive dialogue to address human rights concerns between the Philippines and human rights mechanism. More on this from Marita Mawai.
Several countries note that constructive engagement between the United Nations human rights mechanisms and the Philippines is key to addressing human rights concerns. Thailand, Japan, Nicaragua, and Cambodia underscored this during the 44th session of the Human Rights Council on Tuesday, where UN High Commissioner Michelle Bachelet presented the Philippines' human rights situation. Thailand and Japan expressed readiness to work closely with the Philippines and relevant human rights mechanism. Nicaragua backed Manila and criticized the report presented by Bachelet, saying it does not reflect the efforts that the Philippines has made to protect and promote human rights for its people. Cambodia, on the other hand, said Manila's determination to engage with stakeholders and the international community demonstrates its openness and good faith. Meanwhile, Justice Secretary Menardo Guevara on Thursday urged outspoken critics of the administration's war on drugs to reserve judgment on the interagency review panel that is evaluating the government's anti-drug operations. Since the start of the year, he said the panel has been conducting a judicious review of over 5,000 law enforcement operations where there were reported civilian fatalities. Guevara said the panel which he chairs is targeting to come up with results by November. In other news, Communications Secretary Martin Andanar on Thursday urged human rights watchdogs, including the UN, to acknowledge the need for due diligence in validating allegations of human rights abuses presented to them. Andanar maintains that the government takes seriously its duty to investigate all claims of human rights violations and to prosecute perpetrators. He vowed to continue to support human rights, citing the PCOO's involvement in promoting transparency in the anti-illegal drug campaign through its Real Numbers PH. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Marita Muaje.
In Lanao del Sur, ISIS-inspired flags are burned to signify their condemnation to the local terrorist groups. Christine Lynn Viajante filed this report.
In the continuous pursuit of sustainable peace in Mindanao, the 82nd Infantry Battalion of the Philippine Army, PNP, DILG, and local government units from Marantao, Piagapo, and Balindong towns in Lanao del Sur province burned Dawla Islamia ISIS-inspired flags as a symbol of their condemnation of the local terrorist group. 18 of its members returned to the folds of the law at the exact location where they were trained before by leaders of the ISIS-LTG.
Gusto po namin magbagong buhay para hindi magtago sa iba-ibang lugar. Sa amin kasi, simula nung napunta ka ng tropa yung lugar namin, nangyari sa amin, nagkawatak-watak. Nagtitiis kami. Minsan hindi kami makakain, minsan basa kami sa ulan. Mahirap talaga.
103rd Infantry Brigade Commander Jose Maria Cuerpo II said that the return of these former rebels to the government will have a significant positive effect in the peace situation and economic development of the whole province.
Napakalaking tulong ho ito sa probinsya ng Lanao del Sur at sa siyudad ng Marawi City upang mapabilis ang normalisasyon. Kasi hanggat may gulo, napakahirap pumasok ng tulong ng tao at serbisyo ng gobyerno dahil may threat of harm. Kaya ito hong pagsurrender nila at pagbalik loob at pagpapakita nila ng kanilang masinsinang pagsori sa kanilang nagawa. Malaking tulong ito sa peace and development ng probinsya.
Through inquisition, it was found out by the authorities that the ISIS-inspired LTG uses religion as a recruitment mechanism. Thus, the local government unit of Piagapo created an Islamic Affairs Office responsible in making unified module taught in madrasas to counter the teachings of Islam as projected by the said terrorist group.
Hindi ako nagkakamali, 2017 December, nilaunch namin yung module para sa opening. Yun na yung tuturo sa atin lahat ng madrasa sa ating Arabic school ng ating municipality na yung ituturo nila. Unified module siya na binirify at saka nagkaroon ng screening sa province na yun ang ituturo natin.
For PNA Newsroom, Christine Lynn Viajante of PIA Iligan City Information Center.
5 days after fishing vessel Liberty 5's collision with Hong Kong-flagged cargo ship Vienna Wood on Sunday, government authorities continue the search for its 14 missing crewmen and passengers. Philippine Coast Guard spokesperson Commodore Armando Balillo said 3 ships were currently involved in the search and rescue operations for the missing Filipinos. Currently, he said, the SAR team is looking into the possibility that the missing fishermen were trapped under their capsized fishing vessel. In a message to reporters, the Philippine Coast Guard enumerated its ongoing search areas off Occidental Mindoro. Aerial surveillance is also continuing with the Philippine Air Force searching the vicinity of Cape Calavite. Civilians joined the search with the PNP Maritime Group along with assistance from the Municipal Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Office. In our foreign news, over 176,000 confirmed cases of COVID-19 infections were registered worldwide on July 2nd, with the overall number of such cases exceeding 10.53 million. The World Health Organization on Thursday evening said South and North America account for the majority of confirmed coronavirus cases with over 5 million. The number of confirmed COVID-19 cases in Europe amount to 2.7 million. The East Mediterranean region has over 1 million cases as of July 2. The largest number of coronavirus cases was reported in the United States, followed by Brazil, Russia, India, the United Kingdom, Peru, Chile, Spain, Italy, and Iran. Technologies relevant to the pandemic, such as ready-to-eat food, hygiene products, among others, will be showcased in the upcoming business-type talk show, Tech-Negosyo. Director Annabel Briones of the DOST Industrial Technology Development Institute said the pilot episode would air tentatively in the last week of August. The show will feature insights from technology experts, experiences of the adopters, as well as view from the business and economic perspective. The show aims to heighten engagement with the stakeholders and increase likelihood of technology transfer or adoption in the production sector. The Tech-Negosyo can also be viewed at the ITDI's Facebook page and on YouTube. Let's take another look at today's biggest stories. Malacanang reminds public utility jeepney drivers to observe safety protocols amid their impending resumption of operations. The Army welcomes the PNP statement ruling out that the shooting incident which killed 4 soldiers in Holosulu was a misencounter. Malacanang assures that ABS-CBN workers won't lose their jobs amid the NTC stoppage of its broadcast operations. And several countries call for constructive engagement in addressing concerns on the human rights situation in the Philippines. Thank you for watching another episode of the PNA Newsroom. To check out more news content, check our webpage or head onto the Philippine News Agency's Facebook and Twitter accounts. For more stories about the government and how it serves Filipinos, look for these hashtags in all of our social media platforms and websites. We are shown on the pages of the PCOO and its attached agencies. Also watch us on television on PTV4 and IBC13. And that's your daily dose of the biggest stories that you need to know. From the PNA Newsroom, I am William Theo. Good day and stay safe, everyone.